Hey guys, it's Nathan from the Kentucky Cycling YouTube channel. We are at the Pinnacle Overlook in the Cumberland Gap National Park, where we're getting ready to ride the US Bike Route 21, which is an adventure cycling route through Kentucky, also referred to as the Daniel Boone Route, which follows along a lot of the Boone Trace, where frontier settlers from North Carolina and Virginia made their way into Kentucky and actually moved west. It's estimated that 15% of Americans actually can trace their lineage to people who actually came through the Cumberland Gap and then made their way into Kentucky before either settling in Kentucky or heading further west. We're going to ride over the course of the next 4 days, some 260 plus miles, which actually take us through 10 counties in Kentucky. And we will be looking to kind of retrace the steps of Daniel Boone and those early settlers. We're actually going to end in Maysville, which is actually where Daniel Boone had his last house in Kentucky before moving to Missouri. So we're going to take in a lot of sights and explore the many towns along the way, and looking forward to riding across the state of Kentucky. This will be a series of videos, so come along with us as we journey north on the Daniel Boone Bike Route, US Bike Route 21. US Bicycle Route 21 is a north to south or vice versa United States bicycle route that travels through Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Ohio, from Atlanta to Cleveland. Rather than starting at the Tennessee-Kentucky line, where the route crosses into Kentucky and immediately have to climb a mountain, we opted to start at the Pinnacle Overlook to get a view of the Cumberland Gap, then be able to ride down the mountain to the National Park's Visitor Center for a short visit to help set the tone for the trip before officially picking up the route in Middlesboro. As we moved north along the route away from Middlesboro, we followed along various streams, starting with Yellow Creek and later on the Cumberland River. The roads in this area are quite pretty and will be familiar to anyone who has participated in the Rock the Crater Ride, which is an annual cycling event held in Middlesboro. The ride takes its name from the fact that Middlesboro sits in a crater, which is one of the geological features of the area that made the Cumberland Gap a critical westward passage. Without the crater, it would have been difficult for pack horses to navigate the gap, and unlikely that wagon roads would have followed as quickly as they did. One characteristic of this route is that it goes back and forth from extremely scenic low-flow roads to busier roads, typically as you go in or out of a town. This was the case as we made our way into downtown Pineville, the county seat of Bell County, the first of our 10 Kentucky counties. We enjoyed a tasty lunch at Sauced, a highly rated craft pizza restaurant that sits right on the courthouse square. After lunch, we explored the courthouse grounds, which included one of the many DAR markers we'd see along the way, before making our way north out of town. about 35 miles into our ride, and we are in Flat Lick, Kentucky, and we're at a very historic intersection of what was 3 very historic roads. The Boone Trace, of course, we've been following along, and here the Boone Trace, which continues off in this direction, intersects with the Warrior's Path, and we know that Daniel Boone actually utilized a lot of the Warrior's Path, which predated, the Boone Trace and was used by Native Americans for hundreds, if not thousands of years before settlers came. This is very historic ground, and we're in Flat Lick, Kentucky on Evergreen Road. If you are considering riding this route, you might be interested in picking up a book about Daniel Boone ahead of your ride. There are certainly plenty to choose from out there. I'll include a link to one that I landed on in the YouTube description. This kind of preparation will help you separate the man from the myth. For example, Daniel Boone is often depicted as wearing a coonskin cap. However, Boone didn't actually like them. And like many other long hunters of his day, Daniel wore a wide-brimmed felt or beaver hat, much like the Quaker-style hats worn by men in Pennsylvania, where he was born and spent his early years. In Barbourville, we stopped off at a convenience store to pick up some snacks and took a small detour to check out Union College and the Barbourville City Park before getting back en route. This is some cool tunnel action right here. Ole, 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 ole. Sorry, bud. More gravel. I thought there was just gonna be one section of gravel. Turns out there's 2. As we entered the outskirts of London, the route took us into Levi Jackson Wilderness Road Park. Originally, the Boone Trace was little more than a walking path,
not large enough for wagon travel. The Wilderness Road, which developed from the Boone Trace, was widened and improved in the 1790s. The 896-acre park is named for Levi Jackson, an early Kentucky pioneer, and includes a section of the Wilderness Road. We stopped off to get a look at the watermill, which is a reproduction with authentic interior works. It was built on the banks of the Little Laurel River by the Civilian Conservation Corps in 1939. Outside the mill is a large display of millstones. We wrapped up day one by making our way to our hotel, Microtel Inn and Suites, to check in and get a shower before dinner. I want to give a special shout out to Peter Mitchell from Capital Custom Bicycles, who was kind enough to come and fetch us from the hotel and take us into downtown, where we had dinner together at the highly rated Local Honey in downtown London. Be sure and stay tuned for our next video in this series as we make our way from London to Berea and continue our journey on the Daniel Boone Bike Route. As always, we hope you found this content useful. If you did, please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks.